never turn to stone. Don't believe in all you hear and only have what you see. Trapped inside a bottle, I'm still floating in the sea.
Hey, it's Blastzone Mike, and welcome to Blastzone Mike Fire Rock TV show. We are in our 4th season right now, so y'all can go back and watch all the great episodes I've done in the past. And also, let's thank Bobby Leaving for Pentagram, because the intro and outro for this season is Lightning in a Bottle by Pentagram, which Todd knows very well. Tony, who is his guitar player now.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Todd, introduce yourself to everybody.
Todd Severin. I do a few things. I own Ripple Music, run the record label, and recently just wrote my first debut novel.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the novel, then I'm going to get Todd back on, and we're going to talk about Ripple, because I do have a new stoner rock show called Stone Blue that I'm doing, and all that. So we're going to talk about the novel today. So I never thought that I would see you being the kind of guy to write a novel. How long did it take you to write it?
You know, that's a mixed question.
Okay.
Because the original idea for the book came to me in 1993. And I wrote the first draft way back then in 1994. And what I was writing about, the concept of the book is it's a medical thriller. Mm-hmm. And it's based upon a researcher who develops a system to perform surgery entirely within virtual reality. And it's a thriller because, you know, there's forces that don't want this to exist for lots of different reasons that are all explored in the book. And with those forces, you get sabotage, and you get madness, and you get murder, all the fun things that make a thriller. But in 1994, when you're writing about virtual reality and artificial intelligence, they kept wanting to pigeon this as a science fiction book. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a science fiction writer. I write medical thrillers. And so I kept telling them that everything that I wrote is actually true science and could exist today. But they had a hard time wrapping their heads around this concept of virtual reality. And again, 1994 was a bit early to be talking about it. So, you know, I had an agent. We went to New York, went to all the publishers, and I got the feedback that they didn't quite know how to market it that way. So I did a few rewrites on it, and then in the midst of the rewriting, I started Ripple. And as you know, Ripple over the last 15 years has been pretty busy. So
amazing.
So about 15 years, the book kind of sat on my computer untouched. And then it was just in the end of 2023 when I said, you know what, I got something here. I better get this finished off. So I started reworking on the book, finished it around 6 months later, and started the process of getting an agent and a publisher. And Penmore Press picked it up, and it was published in end of March of this year. So it was a long journey, a lot of years.
And what is the name of it?
It's called Deadly Vision. I got a copy of it somewhere here. That's the book.
How many pages is it? It looks pretty thick.
It's a thick one. 441.
Now, did you get inspiration from authors of the time period when we were growing up as kids? You know, like the guys who like, I can't think of his name. That did like Park Wrestler, and you know, guys that did like the more stories. Like, I'm trying to think of the names of them. I always forget things. That's why I got an editor, so she can fix it.
I took inspiration from when I was growing up. I read a lot of Robert Ludlum novels, and I was fascinated by the way he could plot a novel. If you've ever read an original Robert Ludlum book, my favorite one was the Chancellor Manuscript. And I remember I was in college when I was reading that, and I think I stayed up all night, skipped classes all the next day, and stayed up all the next night just to finish it because I couldn't put it down. It was just riveting. And I was just fascinated by the way he interwove all these different plot lines in his story. Before that, the books I was reading were much more linear. Like I read a lot of Edgar Rice Burroughs, like the John Carter of Mars series, and that sort of stuff, or even James Bond books, and it was more of a linear story. And Robert Ludlum just blew me away with his plotting. So in reading his, I never really entertained the idea that I could write a book. I was a writer. My whole life I've been a writer. The Ripple Music started because I was writing record reviews for the blog The Ripple Effect. That's how I started Ripple. So everything's always been around writing for me, but I was kind of mystified by the writing process until I read John Grisham. And
that's what I think of. John
Grisham's a great writer. And he demystified the story for me because his writing was complex, yet it was a straightforward story. And in reading Grisham, I said, you know what, I can do this. And so I took my idea and, put it to a computer. It wasn't to pen and ink at the time. And I looked at other writers like Michael Crichton, wrote a lot of really good science-based thrillers. And the medical fiction writers at the time were guys like Robin Cook and Michael Palmer and Tess Gerritsen. They wrote some really good medical thrillers. And so I was reading all their stuff and studying their stuff. I even took classes with Tess Gerritsen and Michael Palmer. And then I took classes from a legal fiction, crime fiction writer named Robert Dugoni. And through these workshops and through studying with these best-selling writers, I kind of got an idea of the way I wanted to approach this book. Writing's hard though, man. Writing it's a blank page, right? And story structure and all the details of the craft are things that you just have to learn with process.
Yeah, I'm in the process for the last year writing a book about myself and about the things that I've been through in my life. And my editor, the girl that does my editing, she's like dictating thoughts that I have and trying to put them together into the form of the book. And I know what you're saying. It's like, oh, I forgot that, or leave that out, or whatever. And it's kind of tough. I mean, it's not an easy thing to write a book. And but I have this for you now. Those great writers you're talking about, like Michael Crichton and stuff like that. Do you think that their movies do justice to their books at all? Or TV shows?
There's never been a Michael Crichton movie that's been as good as the books, because the book goes into so much more detail in the science, and that's what gives it believability. Now, the first Jurassic Park movie was amazing, but it was amazing because the special effects. It's the first time we saw dinosaurs that looked real. Because before that, a dinosaur was a stop motion creature, which was, Clash of the Titans, or Sinbad, or, even King Kong or Godzilla, whatever. And it was so clearly fake. And when you saw the first Jurassic Park, and I remember seeing it in the theater before I even read the book, and it was just like, oh my God, that's a brontosaurus. It was like, wow, this is amazing. But what made the book work is that he had the time to really delve into the science and the possibility that cloning a dinosaur from DNA from blood of an insect that was trapped in amber could really happen, because DNA technology had advanced that much. Whereas in the movie, it's all just science fiction. It's all glossed over. Let's get to the dinosaurs. In the book, he really builds it up through the science. And that was the way Michael Crichton wrote. So I don't think there's ever been a movie to me that has topped the book in any genre, any category, with one minor exception. I mentioned John Grisham, and the book that really inspired me was The Firm, which is, a great story. The lawyer gets in over his head. His life is deconstructed. He's got to fight back and get out of it, yada, yada. And it's a really well done story. But in the book, the ending was really weak. I mean, it was just, even when I was reading it, it was like, okay, he didn't really know how to end this. It didn't make a lot of sense. In the movie, they fixed that. They recognized that the ending was not good, and so they rewrote the whole ending of the book, and it made so much more sense. So that's one nod I'll give to the movie end of things, is that they fixed a plot hole that was the end of the firm.
Now, did you watch a lot of medical dramas too, like ER and things like that?
No, I'd never watched a medical drama in my life. I'm a doctor. I live the medical dramas, man. I don't need to watch them on TV. I've spent, I spent 40 years of my life in ICUs and in emergency rooms and trauma centers. I've spent time on locked inpatient wards taking care of psychiatric patients. I've dealt with gunshots and motor vehicle accidents and, knife wounds to the head. You name it, I've been there. I've seen it. I've done it. There's never been a medical fiction show that has ever even come close to capturing the reality of what it's really like to be in the trenches in medicine. ER and St. Elsewhere or Chicago Hope, or I don't even know, whatever. I've never watched an episode of any of those, but I know that it's all dramatized, it's all fictionalized, which is fine. It's TV. I get it. I'm not knocking those shows. I just don't have any reason to watch it. It's kind of like, if your job is as a store clerk, you don't want to watch a TV show about a store clerk. It's because it's like, wait, that's what I do every day. It's just not interesting. Now, I've heard that there is a show on right now called The Pit.
It's great.
I've never seen it, but I've heard from people who've seen it that it appears to be the most realistic, true type of medical drama that's been out there. I haven't seen it yet.
It's 1 hour. Each episode 1 hour in an ER, and it has no O'Reilly in it from ER. And it's got a bunch of awards for the awards that are coming up. They got like a crap ton of awards, and it's interesting because it's 1 hour in the life of the ER, and he calls it The Pit, and it's wild to watch because there's so much going on, and I think that people think medical stuff's a lot like ER or some other show, like you said, that it's all doctors getting together and having sex with other doctors and all that kind of crap.
That's all it is. That's all I've ever done my whole career.
Well, funny. No, I have to ask you though, Todd. You run the label. You put out 5 or 6 albums a month. You also you got the book. You're a doctor. You're doing Ripple Fest. I know in Austin. You do this. You do the festival over in Europe. How do you find time to do everything?
Well, that's a good question. Specifically to the things you've said, I am behind Ripple Fest in Austin, but Ryan Garney is the man of Ripple Fest. He contacts me. We run things by each other. We have certain structure which we work, but 99.999999259% of everything done with Ripple Fest is Ryan Garney. And Ripple Fest Mexico is being done by Pablo Anton. And Ripple Fest in Germany was done by Max Rebel. So even when I was doing the Ripple Fest in Sweden, I had a local person on the ground who volunteers to handle the heavy lifting, because there's just no way I can do that. First of all, I don't know the venues. I couldn't set the stuff up. You need somebody who's there. You need somebody who's got the passion. Ryan Garney has the passion. Pablo Anton in Mexico has the passion. We'll be doing one. We did one in Boston, and that was done by local guys in Boston. I'm setting one up right now in San Francisco, and Mark Aceves of Zed is helping me on that one. I don't know the bookers in the local clubs, even though I live just outside of San Francisco. I don't know the bookers in the clubs because I don't book shows. I'm a record label. I'm not a show booker. I'm not a promoter. I've never done that. It's a whole nother world. Now, if I wasn't a doctor, maybe I could pick up some of that other stuff because I would have the time, but I don't. So, a large part of it is knowing your limitations, getting really good help from really good people, being incredibly structured, incredibly organized, not wasting a moment of time. There's not a lot of time when I'm not doing something. Now, that might sound, very type A, which I am. So I'm not going to deny that. But it's not like, go, 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 go. It's more, I love this stuff and I'd be bored if I wasn't doing it. I love listening to music. It's not a hardship for me to listen to a band and decide if I want to work with them. Just as you do A&R work, you love it. You love hearing bands and you love discovering the new shit. It's like, you're telling me about Yngwie Malmseen's keyboard player who you had just signed to Fire Rock. It's like, well, cool. I bet that when you first got that email, or you first heard that demo, you were kind of out of your skin. It's just fun. It's exciting to do. And then, of course, the final thing, which is very important, and I know you know this as well, is that you got to have a good support base at home. My wife, right? She walked in just to give me a little bite of dinner because I haven't had anything to eat all day today.
But it's that thrill, like speaking of Nick, and doing Nick's album. I found him on a Vicious Rumor poster on Facebook and sent him a message and said, "This is what I'm doing." I had no clue he was a Yngwie Malmsteen. I didn't know. And, then he sent you a message that goes, "Oh, well, I'm the singer and keyboard player for Yngwie since 2009. I'm like, holy shit. Oh, okay. Well, that changes things a lot, And it's like, it was just amazing to go from the start of this project to the end and being a part of all of it, all the way up, to even picking what the cover looks like, and things like that. It's amazing, like you're saying.
And you're doing it because you love it, and you have unlimited. I mean, how many shows do you have? 5?
I have 5 shows now.
Yeah, and it, without delving too deeply into your personal finances, I suspect you're not making a ton of money doing these shows. You do it because you love it.
I do it because I get to meet people like you, Todd. People don't know, but me and you go back, 7 years almost?
Probably, yeah. Pre-COVID for sure.
Yeah, because you're the one that released my buddy in Australia's album. Dave Tice.
Yeah.
You're the one that put that out. And, it's so nice to have my name on the back of that album. And have such a, Dave Tice and we have such a great connection. It's like me and Bobby Leveland. I never thought I'd be Bobby Leveland's friend. Are you kidding me? Yeah. It's like, it's like saying Nikki Sixx is coming over for dinner. It's all about the love of what you do. I mean, I didn't get into the music thing. I didn't get into the music thing or the interview thing or anything like that because I wanted to make money. I wanted to hang out with cool people. I wanted to make memories that my grandchildren are going to know, that. And I told somebody that today. I do everything for my grandkids. I want my grandkids to think I am the greatest grandfather that they ever knew. And that's it. That's all that matters to me.
Well, in the end, if there's a legacy that you can pass down to your grandchildren from what you're doing and what you have done, it is to follow your passion, to follow your heart. I used to tell my kid, I don't care what you do for a living, but whatever you do, be the best damn one of those you can be. If you're a garbage man, be the best damn garbage man you can be. If you work at a gas station, be the best damn gas station employee you can be. Just do what you do with heart and with passion, and life will fall into place.
My boss always tells me, tell every band to do their best album and go and make a better album. That's what he says. And man, we put out some scorchers. Me and him, he just had to labor for 5 months when I come on board. Now it's been 2.5 years. And it's just so exciting. Like, I have to tell you, you're my hero. You put out one of my favorite singers' albums, one of my favorite singers' stuff. He's not the singer in the band, but I think there's some stuff coming up pretty soon that might have him singing in it. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Is it who we were talking about earlier tonight?
Dave Ainsley.
Oh, Dave. No, I'm sorry. That's not who I thought you were going to say. Dave's phenomenal. Dave is a great guy.
I love Dave. And Super Fuzz is one of my favorite bands in the world. I seen him on the show.
We're putting out we're doing the Super Fuzz stuff pretty soon.
Yeah, he had told me. But my show, my Song Rock show, is your band, Nina Soul.
Yeah, with Dave. Yeah.
And then my vinyl show I'm fixing to start doing is Super Fuzz.
Yeah.
I'm interested I could use them. And, you're my hero. I always wanted to do something with Ainsley. I've known you since I was like a kid almost. And it's like, it's amazing because the thing about you is you don't let nothing stop you. Nothing. You're a doctor, you're a writer, you're a record label exec, and nobody in the industry said the bad word about you. There's lots of people that people talk about, but nobody talks about Ripple or Todd being that kind of guy that rips people off. And it's amazing, man. It's amazing that you can say that after all these years.
It's been 15 years in the industry. 15 years I've started Ripple. Well, thank you for saying that. I mean, it's really kind. You just do what you do with integrity. Do it with love. Spread the love to those you work with. Nobody's making any money here, so I'm not ripping anybody off of money. But I don't make a paycheck from Ripple. I never have. I have a day job, and Ripple is a passion.
Yeah.
So you just keep your word. Promise what you can deliver what you promise. The biggest problem with this industry, and you've seen it before, are the people who come in and just way over promise and under deliver.
Oh yeah.
Just calm yourself down, man. Just stay within yourself and know what you can actually do and deliver what you say you can do.
Well, I'll just say this one last thing. My boss always tells me we can't promise any artist or band anything. All we can do is try to make them work towards what their goal is. If you're going to promise somebody something, then 9 times out of 10 it's not going to even happen.
No, I agree with that. I mean, the most I would promise is that that I will produce the product that I say I'm going to produce, and the band will get their copies. And I make a separate promise to our bands that as long as they're an active touring band, I will keep their record in print so they have something for their merchandise table. Those are kind of like the promises I'll do. And then I'll promise to help them out in the way I can.
Well, back to your book, because we got off target. Back to your book now, a couple of things. Is this been released only in paperback or in hardcover?
It was released as that trade paperback. That's what the publisher chose to do, and I don't have any control of that. The audio book is coming out, I believe, end of August.
Did you do it? Did you narrate it?
No, nobody knows who I am. Nobody wants me to. They didn't even ask me to narrate it. I've had zero input on the audiobook. I hope it comes out good. The interesting thing for me in doing the book is on the label side of things. I'm used to bands giving me, their art. They give me their masters. They know what their album art might be, or we work together, whatever. They give me their art, and then they sit back while I do what I do to put their record out, get it distributed, do publicity, blah, blah, blah.
Cool.
And there's this kind of, gap between when they deliver something and when the product is actually out. And I never really thought about that gap before until now, because now I've taken my art, if you will, my book, and I turned it over to a publisher. And now I'm on that side of the coin. I'm sitting there waiting for the book to come out, waiting to see what's going to happen with the audio. I got no control over these things anymore, and whereas, on the label side, it's the opposite. I'm controlling everything and the bands aren't. So I really have an understanding now of what that's like on the artist's point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so are you looking to make this into a TV show or a motion picture at all?
Oh, I would love it, but that's not something, again, that I have any control over. It's if you know anybody who's a producer in Hollywood, or any sort of is in a motion picture company or a production company, and they're looking for a potential property, feel free to give it to them. I don't have any of those connections. I'm not a Hollywood writer. I'm not tied into Hollywood.
The executive producing and have a part in a TV show that we're doing right now called Midas Cove. So
Called what?
Midas Cove, and it's being shot here in Kentucky, and we're working right now on the 2-episode pilot for options to different streams. So yeah,
and you're acting in it. You're an actor in it? You're in it?
I can't really tell you what I do because he'll kick my ass, but you can ask me after I get off here. But anyway, are you going to do a sequel to the book? Has that come around to you?
No, that's actually a good question. I am writing more books, but my next book is not a sequel to this one. The main character's story in this book has been told. If you read the book, you'll see from point A to point Z, his story arc is now complete. So he can go rest. I'm not going to torture him anymore. But I will be writing more books. And in writing this book, I did create an entire world based around this medical center with a lot of secondary characters. So I can populate new characters into a medical center because doctors are always coming and going. Things are always happening. So I can write many more books tied to the medical center, or totally not. I mean, they're all going to be standalone books. This is not a series. But I've created something that I can play with now for more standalone books. So, long answer, it will not be a sequel, but I am writing more books. The next one's it's been plotted. I'm revising the plot right now. I'm just about ready to start writing.
Well, before we go ahead and tell people where they can purchase the book, how they can reach out to you, if they're going to sign by you, all those good things. Go ahead and mention Ripple, go ahead and promote whatever you need.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, if you want to get a copy of the book that's already signed, you can actually get it from Ripple because we're selling them on our Bandcamp page. So ripplemusic.bandcamp.com. And you'll see the book is there, and all the books that are being sold out of the store are signed. And one thing that is kind of cool, so I have a record label with some phenomenal artists on it, as you know, and I wrote a book. And so I'm thinking that's kind of a unique situation. How can I tie these two things together? So I reached out to some of our best artists, some of our very popular artists like Dave Engstrom and Wino and Gary Arce of Yanni Man and bands like Baracho and Dr. Smoke and Tidal Wave and a bunch of artists, and they gave me exclusive songs, and we created a soundtrack. It's not a soundtrack for you to listen to while you read, but I call it the reading soundtrack because you can see the bands that are on this thing.
That's awesome.
So there's Baracho, Burnt Sherpa, which is Greg Green from Mr. Plow. Wino did a song with Jason Taylor. There's a Fen song, Dr. Smoke. Gary Arce and Pia did a song. Kabbalah. Luna Soul has an exclusive song on this.
Oh, no.
It's the only version of it. I told you about Tidal Wave. Marcus Sevis, who's helping me throughout my whole career, he has his debut song from his new solo records on here. And then Cranium. So there's 11 songs. And from the first song, the first opening note, which is a heartbeat, to the end, the CD kind of either in word or in atmosphere tells the story of the book. So you can get these CDs at ripplemusic.bandcamp.com also, and you can stream the music. It's on there. And then the book's available everywhere else. It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Nobles, it's around.
Yeah, and do you have anything to talk about Ripple real quick that you got coming out? And you got Ripple Fest in Austin. You want to talk about
Ripple Fest in Austin?
Real
Yep, Ripple Fest in Austin's coming up. We have Ripple Fest in Mexico City coming up, which will be our debut one. That's going to be fun. And we're planning the date right now, but somewhere in the first half of November, we're going to have the Ripple 15-year anniversary party, which is going to be in San Francisco. It'll be 2 nights, Friday and Saturday. And right now it's looking like one night's going to be Borracho, Black Wolf, Godzillionaire, and maybe The Watchers. And then the second night's going to be Fireball Ministry, Zed, and Snake Mother.
Can't believe you got Fireball Ministry on your label. I love that band.
Fireball Ministry are amazing. They've been a joy to work with. Yeah, I'm pretty thrilled.
Me and you, like I said, me and you have known each other for a long time, and to see the bands that have come up in the last 15 years on your label, like Wino. I mean, I've known about Wino since he was an Obsessed,
Right.
with Dave. And, then they did Spirit Caravan together. And it's like, oh my God, and then you put out the Wino solo album, like you did the Tony Reed one, and it was like, this is amazing, and you I have to say, you inspired me to be who I am in a way, because I've seen you for so long, how you did things, and we talked all the time about a long time ago, when we first started knowing each other. I mean, you even got freaking oh my God, I forgot the damn name. Poobah. Yeah.
Jim Gustafson.
Jim is great, man. It's like, oh my God, he's even got Poobah stuff coming out. I'm like, what the hell?
Thank you for mentioning Poobah's name. It's reminding me I need to reorder the Burning in the Rain Poobah anthology CDs. We're sold out.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So thank you.
But anyway, man, it's always great talking to you. Maybe we can do something later and talk more about Ripple. But I fully support you in your book. I think it's a great thing. And
thank you.
And like I said, you inspire me, man. And you helped me get my friend Dave a record on your label, like I said, with his band Buffalo. And I'm working on, not nobody knows this, but me and the girl that does my editing, we're working on a Buffalo Dave documentary, and the trailer will be out probably in the next 2 months, and starting to do interviews with people that work with Dave over the years.
That's awesome. That's about time. Buffalo's a legendary band. People should know about them.
And Dave Price is amazing. He's 70-some years old, just like Bobby Lee. And, and both of them are just amazing on stage. Dave will call me like, I don't know what hour it is, because Australia's like, 12 or 18 hours ahead of us. And what a great relationship, to say that I have, But, yeah, man, Todd, keep doing what you're doing, man. You're one of the good ones.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're one of the good ones, and that's the reason why labels like this stays around, like Small Spoon, and labels like that. I wish Meteor City was still here.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I couldn't hear you there.
I said I wish Meteor City was still here.
Yeah, well, Jad's got a new label out. They're doing pretty good.
Oh, what's his label called, man?
Blues Funeral.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was the one who started Meteor City back in the day, so he knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.